A few weeks ago, Bambu Labs released Bambu Studio 2.5 and announced that you can finally print while drying or dry while printing, as well as control the drying of your AMS2 and AMS HT from Bambu Studio or Bambu Handy. However, if you read the release notes, you'll find that actually that was not true. Not true because it required you to have a beta firmware version on the H2D in order to allow those features. I'm happy to announce that on March 2nd, they actually released a new firmware version for your H2D, allowing you to use those features. I wanted to dig into those release notes and let you all know all the features that are in there for the H2D. And hopefully they'll be bringing that same feature set to the H2C and H2S, as well as other printers in the Bambu Lab family. Let's get started. So now here we are with the firmware release notes for the new H2D firmware that was released on March 2nd. The first two things are, of course, the most exciting ones, so they put them on top. Users can now turn on the drying feature for the AMS2 Pro and the AMS HT from both Bambu Studio and Bambu Handy. Now, I don't have the app right now in order to show you, but I did find the setting in Bambu Studio. You want to go to the Device tab, and in the Device tab, you're going to see your different AMSs listed over here. Select the AMS that you want, click on the little humidity icon here, and you're going to see the option to start your drying. And if your AMS is already drying, you can actually check the status of it by clicking on it as well. I started this from Bambu Studio earlier, and now I can see how much the remaining time is, what the temperature and the humidity within it. I guess that's exciting. I mean, I guess it's a little bit easier than just walking over to my printer here, but for people who have a lot of printers, or maybe their computer is separate from their print farm, I guess it could be useful. The more exciting feature here is number 2, where they added support for printing while drying or drying while printing. Again, this requires the AMS2 Pro or the AMS HT, and it says that it has a lower drying temp during printing than you would normally have. I wish I could show that to you, but mine is actually running the post firmware update calibrations that it recommends to run. I am curious what the temperatures are that they're talking about here. Number 3, they added support for camera-based verification for the tungsten carbide nozzles. I guess that's exciting if you have some of those or if you're going to get some. I don't know what that means for previously, how it recognized those nozzles. They added support for TPU printing for the left nozzle for TPU hardness 90A or higher. That's great for people who want to be able to have the option of printing from either one. Previously, you can only print from the right side, but now you can print from both. So I think that is an interesting touch. I do think that they're doing that to line it up for the H2C. So that way you could do TPU printing with a left nozzle, and then you could do multicolor, multi-material printing with the right side using the Vortex system. They added support for TPU high flow kit and TPU feed assist module. It says these are going to be available Q1 2026. I don't know what these are. I tried Googling them. I tried looking them up. I can't find any information on them. So I guess it's exciting if you print a lot of TPU. For me, I don't know what they are, so I don't know if I should be excited or not. They added support for starting prints over LAN without requiring a USB storage device. Now, I guess that's good if you do LAN mode. I personally have not done that. I have not messed with it, so I don't know the difference. I assume that before it required a USB storage device to be plugged in, which I recommend having anyway if you want to capture time lapses. That's the only way to do it. I guess that's nice if you want to take it out of the box, you want to use LAN mode and you don't have a storage device laying around. I guess that's a nice little feature. Added foreign object detection beneath the hotbed, number 7. I guess that's good. I don't think the camera can really see much under the hotbed, so I'm not sure where that's going to go. They added live view camera-based nozzle clumping detection. That's great. I personally have not had too many issues with the AI detection. I've heard people having a lot of false positives with it. I have not experienced that. I've had it save me a few times by finding spaghetti prints going on and stopping the print, so I'm not wasting the rest of my filaments. I don't know if you can turn this off. I haven't found the setting for it yet. I don't know if this is like the other AI-based thing, if you can turn it off yourself. They added a live image display and AI detection error pop-ups. So if you have the AI detection turned on, you're going to get a live image display on the printer itself, on the screen itself, of what's going on. I guess that's good. I mean, you're already at the printer. You could just open the door and see what's going on. I'm not sure what you're gaining with that. I think it would be more beneficial if that would pop up on the Bambu Handy app and you got some kind of live feed or even a snapshot of what it is that it found when it stopped the print. Maybe this is working towards updating the Bambu Handy app notifications. They added a low power mode for the heat bed to reduce the peak power consumption by extending the heat bed heating time when the printer's power supply is limited. I guess if you have a UPS and the UPS is enabled, maybe that's a good thing to have to help preserve the power in the UPS. Added regulation certification page for certification e-labeling. I don't know what that means. Added purify air at print end option. That is a nice little feature that you can turn on where it'll purify the air for about 3 minutes after printing. That's great if you're printing more offensive materials like ABS or ABS-A or other materials. So that way it'll purify the air a bit before you open up the door. They added Russian language support. Added support for pausing prints via the physical button at the top right of the printer. So there's a button on the top right of your printer that, honestly, I don't know what it does. I didn't know what it did before this. But now you can use it to pause your prints instead of going through the screen. I guess if something really bad's happening, you can just tap on it quickly. They added a stopping state after a stop command is initiated. During the state, the printer blocks user input until the stop process is complete, preventing control command sequence conflicts. So I guess previously, if you tried to stop the print, you could still try to hit buttons and do some additional things to it, and it would confuse the printer, maybe. And it seems like they're just trying to prevent that from happening. I haven't experienced that myself, but it is nice because it would kind of suck if you hit the stop button and then you can keep pushing other things, and then the printer got confused as to what it's doing. Added a filtering option with cooling mode for the adaptive air circulation system. This can be enabled via the slicer or printer UI. It's to filter the air when exhausting the air for low temperature filaments. I'm still not sure I understand exactly what that is. If somebody does understand, put it down below and help me understand. I just let the filtering and the air circulation do its thing. I've never messed with that. Number 17, they added a bird's eye camera and installation for cutting module. I guess that's great if you have the cutting module. I do, and someday I'm going to use it. But for now, it just sits pretty in the box. Optimized filament color display on the filament editing page, adding support for gradient and dual color filaments. So I like this because previously you were limited to just solid colors, but I wonder if that means whenever I load filament into the AMS and I have to manually select the filament, if it's going to give me the options to do that. I can't show you on the printer right now because it's doing the calibration settings, but I did find it in Bambu Studio. So in Bambu Studio, whenever you have your filament here, you can actually click on these and it'll bring up the colors that are available to you. And now they actually do have some of the gradient colors that Bambu Lab sells. Of course, it's limited to only the gradients that Bambu Lab sells or the dual colors that they sell, which makes sense because it's a Bambu Lab printer and it's Bambu Lab filament. They can't cover every possible gradient combination out there. That is a nice feature that gives you a little bit more customizability whenever you're putting your filament in there. So maybe it's easier to identify what's in there if you have, I don't know, 24 colors hooked up in there. They added support for the tool head, enhanced cooling fan. We're at number 19. This is something I also didn't know existed. I have a friend who told me that he bought this and he's excited because now he can finally use it. I guess that you attach it to the back of the print head to have some additional airflow and cooling for the tool heads. I'm guessing is a great thing because it's probably going to help with a lot of heat creep and things like that to prevent clogging. I have experienced clogs in mine before and it's not fun. I don't know if I'm interested in spending 40 bucks right now though. They added support for the engineering plate and the cool plate super tack. Those were already there. I guess it means that if you had them previously, you put them in there, you had to disable the automatic plate detection and then do your own settings. But now it'll automatically, and I'm guessing it'll automatically detect those for you. They added support for the rotary attachment. This requires Bambu Suite 01.02. So it actually requires Bambu Suite because it uses the laser module for the printing instead of doing the typical plastic printing. So I didn't know what this was. I had to look it up. And it is exciting if you have the laser module and you do a lot of work with the laser module. It's expensive as well, that $270. But essentially, this is something that you put inside of the printer that will rotate whatever it is that you're printing so you can print round objects or laser engrave round objects. There's a little video they have showing it working. Looks like a coffee cup or something in there, a coffee mug. Scanning how to put it on there, and then it's rotating as it is engraving whatever it is that you have. I do have the laser edition. Sadly, I've never used the laser. Maybe someday I'll get around to playing with it. I know they have a few feature optimizations that I guess are worth noting. They improved the alarm behavior and triggering logic of the automatic fire suppression system. Another thing I didn't know that existed. I guess that it's a great thing to have with the laser module, especially if you plan on walking away from it, which you should not. Improve accuracy of build plate offset detection. That's great because sometimes I move mine around and I forget to reset it completely before I start the next print. Optimize collision detection for the purge bin. That's also probably a good thing. I wonder if that'll help some of the issues that I have with my nozzle blocker bending all the time because it keeps knocking up against the purge bin or knocking up against the nozzle wiper. Optimize the status display of the automatic fire suppression system, more about that. Improve motor noise related surface defects at low speed. This is why I'm actually having to do the calibration on mine right now because it prompts you to do that after the firmware update. Improve the issue where the flow blocker could potentially bend following a nozzle flow calibration. Thank you. That's extremely exciting. I've actually had to replace my nozzle blocker on mine. I've had to replace it once and fix it 2 or 3 times and bend it back the way it was. And actually, I'm stupid, and the first time that I replaced it, I somehow damaged the wire going to the left hot end. So I had to pay 40 bucks to order a new hot end and replace that thing because apparently I'm an idiot. Hopefully this fixes the issue. That's extremely exciting. Now, this is all the release notes that come with the new firmware update for the H2D. I hope that some of these are exciting for you. I think a lot of people are going to be excited about the TPU usage. A lot of people are going to be excited about the printing while drying. And I, for one, am excited that my nozzle blocker will stop being bent because that was outrageously obnoxious. And I got tired of having to fix it and worried I was going to have to order more. Thank you, Bambu Studio, for actually listening to people reporting the issues on that one. And thank you for, I guess, scanning through Reddit because there was a massive Reddit post complaining about it as well. That's what I got. I hope at least some of these are exciting for you. I hope that you can make use of these. If you don't have an H2D, I hope that they bring this over to the H2S and H2C soon so other people can also experience these new updates. With that, have fun, print more.